I feel like I've done a lot of videos today. I've literally recorded about 6 videos, I feel, so if you see the same outfit, that's why. But I wanted to do a sort of post-wedding video. Me and Darren did record one together, which I'll link that down below. But I thought I would do one, just a couple of things I thought about the wedding and like tips that I want to give you. So we had an amazing wedding, and if you're just stumbling across this and you've not seen any of my other videos, I will link the wedding playlist down below. Basically, me and Darren live in the UK and we flew out to Vegas and got married at the Venus Gardens at Caesar's Palace. It was beautiful. We got married on the 17th of September and like it was just perfect. I couldn't have wished for anything better. The weather was perfect. Obviously it's hot in Vegas, like we knew that, and my dress was appropriate for that. It was a midi length, like 1950s dress. I'll insert a picture. I love that dress. I felt like such a princess in it. Did get very hot at one point, or multiple points actually in it, but if you're thinking about the Venus Gardens at Caesar's Palace, it is gorgeous. It is located right next to the pool, but you don't really tend to hear that. You just get the typical, I think we had a life whistle once from the pool, like a, you know, a lifeguard's whistle, and a plane going overhead. I think those were the only 2 things we noticed, and that's just your standard. You're outside, that's what you're gonna have. You can't control that. But you don't really hear any noises from the pool, considering it's so close. It is quite shady around there. It just depends what time of the year you go and the time of day. Our ceremony was at 2:30 and it was pretty shady then, which was lovely because we didn't have the sun beating down on us while we're trying to say our vows. So that was really great. I thought I was really prepared for the wedding, and then there was some things in the day I still wasn't prepared for, like knowing where to to pick up our limo. If you're, just for reference, I mean, double check with your coordinator, because this is something I didn't do, but we thought, oh, our limo will pick us up around the front of the hotel. No, it was going to pick us up from the Augustus Tower, which was the side entrance, but I mean, that didn't matter. It's just little things like that, I mean, there's always going to be something that you forget to do or you've not planned for, and you just have to go with it. Like, my dad was running late getting to us for like his first look at me and taking me down, and I started like getting stressed about it and panicking, and I was like, do you know what, it's gonna be fine. And we were only wedding there that day, so we didn't really have that time pressure. So yeah, we did have our wedding live streamed, and you can actually watch that footage down below. I've uploaded it. It will already be up, so if you've not seen that, go and have a look. But it did end up freezing halfway through, so if you are planning on getting it live streamed, they do say that if they for whatever reason can't live stream it, it will be uploaded within the next 2 hours. But just bear that in mind, make people aware. A lot of our friends and family did say it froze, but then they just watched it back the next day and it was fine. My biggest tip I have, this is going to be slightly all over the place this video, but it's just how I'm like thinking of things. One of the biggest tips I have is to make sure you eat well, and make sure you've got someone in your party that reminds you to eat. Like, make them your designated food person, because especially if you've got an afternoon wedding like we did, there is a lot of time in the day, and it's going to be a lot of time of you getting ready, and you're not necessarily going to think about eating, and also you're not going to want to eat to ruin your makeup or eat in case you spill something down you. Obviously don't eat in your wedding dress like until the ceremony's over, like that's a no-brainer. But like, make sure you've got a robe or something, or if you do have to eat in your dress, make sure it's food that's not going to stain if you drop it on you. Because I'd eaten breakfast in the morning and I just ended up having a banana for lunch, and I thought I'd be fine, like, but we weren't eating a proper our sit down meal that evening wasn't until like 7:30. So by the time we were eating, it was like 8 o'clock, and I literally had like 2 pastries and a banana, and we were taking the photos after the ceremony, and the heat, and I could see my vision was going. I was like, I need to sit down, and I came over just really hot and faint and feeling a bit sick, and I needed sugar quickly. Luckily we had taken some of the pastries down with us, and I had some Lucozade, and I had a bit of a banana. Bananas are your best friends, girls, because they ain't gonna stain your clothes, and they're not messy to eat, and they're going to give you energy. So if you have nothing else, quick, before the ceremony, have a banana, touch up your lipstick. Because yeah, I didn't want to have to reapply my lipstick, which is silly because I had the lipstick anyway, so I could have. So yeah, just make sure that someone is providing you with food, and like just reminding you, especially like if you've, like ours obviously wasn't a traditional wedding. We had the ceremony, we took our photos, and then me and Darren went around Las Vegas taking photos together, and then we met up with our family again in the evening. There was only 6 of us. If you've got the typical big wedding, there's not going to be like, you're going to be talking to people, you're not going to want to eat anything, you're going to be nibbling at things, not really focusing. Just make sure you eat, basically. And if there's like a buffet, make sure you're like picking at that. Get people to bring plates to you, like just make someone aware that it's a good idea that you eat something, and just get them to check up on you through the evening, because it's something I didn't think about, and it could have got a lot worse really if I hadn't have eaten that banana at that time. And we did have to stop off between shoots when we had a bit of a break, and we were like, should we go to Burger King? Yeah, so Darren went and got us Burger King. So the lighting is like really streaming in now. Thing I would suggest is getting a pair of bridal flip-flops now, or sandals, or something without a heel or a very low heel. Obviously I had my lovely wedding shoes, and in the morning I had to go to the salon, I had my bridal robe and these little sandals that I'd shown you before we went. And I took those with me. I thought I was just going to wear them in the morning down to the salon. And when we were up in our room, I had a bag of stuff that I was going to take in the limo with me while we were going around, like things to touch up with, things for the shoots, and there was some food in there and things like that. And my photographer Susie, or one of them, she was like, are you going to take those flip-flops with you? And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. She was like, you need to take them. And I'm so glad she made me take them, because like even by the end of doing the family photos, my feet were starting to hurt, and they were like so throbbing by the last shoot at the neon boneyard. So as soon as I got into that limo, I was like, right, these are coming off, sandals are going on. And if you've got a nice pair of like bridal sandals, it still looks nice with your outfit. Obviously if you've got something that you need the heels for the height, get just a little, like a wedge or something that's going to be more comfortable for your feet, because otherwise you will regret it. And I also had like taken plasters and that with me, because obviously I hadn't worn my shoes for a long period of time, so I didn't know how they were going to wear, so I made sure that I took like plasters and that with me. You will find that on your wedding day, things you had planned to do don't happen. One of the things I had planned was, I had this great visions of us at the neon sign that's, you know, the typical welcome to Vegas sign, with me and Darren putting on our matching West Ham shirts over our clothes, and having our Mr. and Mrs. shirts on, because West Ham's such a big part of how we came together. I knew as soon as, like, the way I packed them with us, but I didn't ever get them out of the bag, because A, how are we going to put those tops, they're quite fitted tops anyway, how are they going to get over our outfits? It was really busy there. We had to wait 20 minutes for us to take our photos, and luckily our photographers were really clued up, because they've obviously taken photos there before. They knew it gets busy, and so we're not going to have time for that. And it was so bloody hot. You just wanted to take the pictures and go to the next shoot and get into that air-conditioned car, because it was just super hot, and just standing there, it's just unbearable. And there's no benches to sit there, and it's not shaded either, so just bear that in mind. You may, if you are going to a hot country, you know you're going to be outside for a while, get like a little parasol. I did think about this at one point, getting a little parasol, and in hindsight it would have been really good if you're like going to a destination wedding, or even if you know it's going to be hot here in the UK, like during the summer months. When you're like having your photos taken, like if you're having the family photos and you don't necessarily need to be in the photo, if there's no like shady area, having that to provide some shade is going to be a really, really good idea. So yeah, but it would have just been another thing we'd carry, but if you've got bridesmaids and maid of honours, that's where they come in handy. And the other thing I want to mention is to know if you're, well, my now husband, if you have a husband like mine who doesn't like taking photos that much, I am a diehard photographer, so I know and always want to take photos of things and capture everything, and he gets really like tested by it with me, and I test his patience to no end. I had to learn when enough was enough. I had to recognise when Darren simply had enough. I mean, it's his wedding day as well at the end of the day, and he knew for me this was a big thing, taking the photos, so he did that for me, and I'm forever grateful because the photos are just stunning. And a large part of our day was taken up of taking photos because we visited the different locations. But I could tell when he'd had enough. When he started to get a little bit ratty, and especially around dinner time, I could tell. So even like having like knowing what your husband's like, I knew that at some point he would want something to eat, and we'd be in the limo, so I took snacks and drinks. And yeah, I just made sure I was prepared and could make it as easy as possible for him, really. And I knew when he had had enough, it was time to give up. And even I came to a point myself, I was like, right, can we just go for dinner now? And it was the relief when the cameras were put away. Because even though you were enjoying it, you felt like everything was go, go, go. And it wasn't until we sat down at dinner, we were like, can relax now. So those are like my little tips and just a few things I wanted to mention about our wedding, and for me just to look back on one day. We had such an amazing time. I am going to do a video next actually, which is not the happiest of topics, but it is about the post-wedding depression. And it's a very real subject, very real thing, and I really want to make a video on my experience with it. So yeah, stay tuned for that, because I think that's something that doesn't really get talked about too much. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out our vlogs from the trip and the honeymoon, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!